Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Welcome to the first UBC meeting of Ward 15. And thank you all for being on time. I would just like to remind you to all please sign the attendance sheet. And when we've done that, I would like to start off this meeting by everybody introducing themselves. Can we start with the head nurse, please, Monica?
So, good morning everyone. I am Monica. I'm the head nurse in Ward 15 and I welcome you all to the first ever UBC meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mom. I'm Teresa, Secretary of the UBCP.
Good morning. I'm Daisy. I was elected as a co-chairperson of the UBC.
My name is Susara and I was elected as the chairman of the UBC.
I'm Alfonsa. I am the member of UBC team.
Myself Hasina, I am the educator of UBC team.
My name is Judy Lin from Nursing Quality.
Welcome everybody, and I hope that we are going to work very, very well together. Before we start, I think it is important that we start this meeting with some ground rules. So I'm going to ask our secretary to write down some ground rules on the board as you shout them out, just whatever comes in your head as a ground rule, so that we can have ground rules for that. Before we continue, it is important that we document these ground rules. They're on the big sheet, please, Teresa.
Yes, with pleasure, Mom. I'm going to record the meeting on my phone, so just to make it easier for me to remember everything and for the minutes of the meeting also.
Thank you. Right, let's start. Teresa, I think we can start writing there.
I think the first one should be show up on time and come prepared.
Okay. Second can be demonstrate commitment to the UBC.
Shall contribute to meeting goals, and all cell phones should be silent.
I think we should let everyone participate.
Another one, everyone must listen with open mind and heart.
Okay, just give her a while to write. Participate.
Open
Open
mind.
mind. Listen with an
Listen
open
with an
mind.
open
Yeah.
mind, yes. I think stay on point and on time.
Also, think before speaking.
I think I need to add everyone should stay mentally and physically present.
15:26.
And then address the problem, not the person.
Another thing, be positive, do not blame, but focus on the situation.
Okay, is there any more?
Yes, we should have an interactive participation from all those who are attending the meeting, maybe.
Anybody who wants to add something? Anyone that doesn't agree with those ground rules? So we can accept it for this meeting. So please minute that, remember that, so that we can remind one another of our ground rules whenever it is necessary. Right, let's start with the agenda. The next item on our agenda is our nurse sensitive indicators. So I've asked the co-chair to prepare for us a slide so it's easier to see our nurse sensitive indicators. Would you like to continue, please?
Okay, ma'am. So I have prepared a slide. So the first one is we have the fall rate. Just see the results. We have one fall for the month of April and no falls with injury for the April. So we are below the benchmark.
So can we share in a group what is our interpretation of this result?
According to the investigation, the patient who did not have proper education regarding fall prevention.
Yes, that is true. Actually, no education was documented, and when asked, the patient said nobody informed him that he is a risk for fall.
Okay. So what recommendations should we consider in this regard for this fall?
Sometimes communication is very difficult with the patients, even though we try to speak Arabic.
So for which, do we have any patient education material that you can share in Arabic?
No, we don't have actually.
Okay, so are we documenting the risk on the communication board, Ma'am Monica?
No, unfortunately, ma'am, we are not utilizing the communication board as we should.
Okay, that is a lot. So what do you guys, what actions do you guys think we can implement with regards to fall?
I think we need to focus on the three things that was mentioned. First is to focus on documenting on the communication board. Second one is ask the PCT to help us in Arabic languages to explain the fall risk of the patient. And lastly is to ask the health education with regards to patient information brochure specifically for fall risk.
Oh, wow. Does everybody agree that we will focus on those three things?
Yes, so I'll ask the PCT, ma'am,
Yes?
to help us with the education with regards to translating in Arabic, and then I will tell them also to document or write it in the communication board inside the patient's room.
Oh, that's great. And that way we can monitor that it is done.
Yeah. Can we also ask the patient care technician to check the communication boards every day?
Yes, I'll speak to them right after the meeting.
The charge nurse can help also to check the communication for during their handover rounds.
Okay, so everybody agree? The PCTs and the will help us with the communication boards and help to translate when necessary. Everybody agree?
Yes. So our second KPI is the hospital-acquired pressure injury. Stage 2 and above all the stages. So for our results is we had 3 stage 2 and 1 deep tissue injury for April that developed during April in the unit.
So what is our interpretation of that result?
Actually, the nurse-patient ratio is the problem. We do not have time for pressure injury care.
Remember the ground rules. Do not blame, but focus on the solution.
Thank you very much for that, Hasina. Pressure injuries do not reflect positive on our nursing care, guys. And there are many factors that can contribute to the development of pressure injury development, and it's not only the nurse-patient ratio. So can we rethink this one a little bit, please?
We had one patient had a stroke and developed the DPI on the foot of the affected leg. So we could have done more to prevent the injury. So one PI also developed in the occiput of the patient. Two PIs developed on the heels of bedridden patients, and to the more attention could have been given to the prevention of these injuries.
So do you think if we focus more on prevention, it will make a difference?
Yes, prevention should always be the focus.
But mom, we don't even have the prophylactic dressing. We don't have skin barrier or given the pressure injury relieving devices.
But is there anything else that we can do with what we've got to prevent the pressure injuries?
I would suggest that we focus on keeping heels off the mattress with pillows and
Okay.
then perform physical exam actually correctly.
Okay, that sounds easy. So am I correct if I say we will keep the heels off the mattresses with pillows? We will perform the physical exam correctly so that we can find the occiput that is deteriorating. And how are we going to monitor this?
During handover, when we check the ID and contraptions, can both nurses can check if both heels are off the mattress, and both nurses need to check the most important pressure injury points also.
I actually agree. That is easy to do and doesn't take a lot of time.
Okay, and then the measurement will be the decrease in pressure injury rates. Am I right?
Yes.
Judy, are you from quality happy with that recommendation?
I think that's a good start for this unit.
Now let's move on.
So let's proceed. The third KPI is the percentage compliance, the patient identification process. So our numbers actually drop. Patient identification is IPSG 1. We should have 100% compliance with knowledge and skills.
But the quality always asks us when we are busy.
Yeah, but that is not a reason to answer incorrectly or refuse to answer the question itself.
Yeah, that's true. I agree. There are reasons that ID bands are applied. So how do the nurses do the identification during medication or handover if it's not correct? That is something that I don't understand.
We should make focused efforts to improve this actually.
During handover, we need to check the ID band and replace it on the spot. If it is not correct, both nurses need to check and agree that the ID is in order.
Okay, so, and in addition, we can, I think, ask the PCT or the interns to check the ID bands of the patient and just to inform us with the findings that they observe.
And what about the staff knowledge with regards to identification?
Can we schedule an in-service training in the unit about identification to ensure everyone knows how to properly identify the patient?
Okay, and who do you suggest must do the education?
Education department.
I don't think so. Giving the education all the time is not always the answer. So I would highly suggest that we can ask the nurses to do the lecture so that they will understand and they can communicate each other and they will do it in a better way.
Very good idea. So Monica, can you then please arrange for us for next week that we do in-service training in the
Yes,
unit?
ma'am, Chair, I'll take note of that and I will do that.
Okay.
Okay, just please send us a copy of all the attendances of the lectures that you are going to conduct in your unit.
Okay.
So our recommendation regarding the identification is that during handover, the ID bands must be checked and replaced on the spot while the two nurses are there with the handover. Both nurses must check and agree that the ID is in order. We will ask the PCTs and the interns to check for us and to come and report if there's faulty IDs. Monica will schedule the in-service training in the unit about identification, And then the attendance sheets needs to be sent to quality because it's part of their data that we have done this.
Okay.
Agree?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, well, this meeting goes easy, huh? So what's next, Daisy?
So the next one is the IV infiltration rate, IV phlebitis rate. And unfortunately, our rate is 3.3. The benchmark is 0. We had 4 infiltration during April.
So if we do the interpretation, why did we have 4 infiltrations and 4 phlebitises?
Actually, 2 of those infiltration were bad.
This is bad, and even one patient was very angry.
Okay.
Then I will suggest that we should apply the same with the other previous indicators. We need to check during handover and make sure that all IVs are working.
Do we feel that this is a competency of compliance issues?
Look, we do have a number of competent staff in the unit, and we will look at our competencies a little bit later. However, we do insert a lot of IVs in this unit, so I would not think that competency is the issue, but let's look at that when we get there. Thank you very much for that note.
I agree, we need to check IVs more frequently. All of us should go back to the basics: redness around the site, swelling, blanching, or pain or tenderness, and if IV not working, and cool skin temperature around the IV site. Also for the scalp, hand, arm, and leg or foot nearby the site.
But how often do we need to check?
Well, the policy says that we need to at least check the IV site every 4 to 6 hours or as needed. And every time we need to access it, we need to check as well.
Okay, so let's conclude. The interpretation is not enough focus on checking of the IVs. IVs are not checked according to the policy every 4 to 6 hours or when we access the lines. So our recommendation from the UBC is to check the IVs as follow during handover and make sure that the IV is working well, and that we will focus on to check specifically for redness, swelling, blanching, pain and tenderness, the IV that's not working, the cool skin, and we will ensure compliance by reminding the nurses to check during handover specifically for their IVs. Is that agree?
Yeah.
Okay. Now next, Mrs. Co-Chair Daisy, what is next?
The next one is the percentage compliance to initial nursing assessment, the timeliness and completeness. So here is the result. Percentage of compliance to nursing plan of care. Actually, these 2 results are both very bad and are decreasing every month. So only 61% of our patients had complete and timely initially assessed in the file, and only 6% had completed their nursing care plan in the medical records. These numbers also decreasing every month this year. The benchmark is 100%, as this is as Bangladesh standard.
Wow. Did anybody thought it will be this low? What do you think is the reason for this?
I think we are just careless about the because most patients are admitting within an hour before the end of the shift. So we are in a hurry to complete the work.
But you know, this is a bad reflection in our unit.
Yeah, very bad. 94% bad. And it is bad for us, but how can we as nurses make a difference to ensure that we complete this on time?
I think the charge nurse can check the medical records and remind the staff on every shift to complete.
Yeah.
Someone needs to check our patient's medical record every shift.
We can check during handover, and if not done, the primary nurse, we need to complete.
Okay. So for interpretation, Staff is non-compliant because most of the patients get admitted just before we go on at the end of our shift. And then our recommendation is to discuss it with the team in our next meeting and to get also their feedback for improvement. The charge nurse on the shift need to check the medical records and to remind the staff during each shift to complete. And then the nurses needs to check during handover when they do the medical record handover. Because how do they hand over if the things is not complete? Next, Daisy.
So the next one is nursing turnover rate. Our turnover rate decreases to 1 and the benchmark is 1.3.
I do not understand about turnover rate. Can you, someone explain?
Yes. As you can see in that form, the nurse turnover rate reflects the total number of nurses under your department who separated, meaning exited or resignation on the last day of the current month.
But our staff turnover is a reflection of staff satisfaction because we don't
Yes.
want our staff to leave.
Yes, because sometimes you may never know why or what are the reasons why these staffs left, but still it is a negative implication into the unit.
Though the staff turnover decreased to below the benchmark for April 2023.
I recommend we need to look at the staff satisfaction survey result and also the reason for leaving the unit.
So the next on our agenda is the staff satisfaction. Daisy?
So okay, let me take you through the slide so we can see the totality of the survey. So the staff overall satisfaction is 35%.
Next one.
And then you have the leadership domain.
Okay. The purple and the green indicates the satisfaction. The orange, red and blue, dissatisfaction. So what is concerning to us is there's a lot of orange. People that stays neutral, and that is concerning, and that is what's bringing our numbers down in our staff satisfaction. And this is what we need to work on. Next slide. If we look at the questions around about teamwork, again, it comes to 60-70% for teamwork. However, huge areas of orange, we do not want orange. We do not want people without a must feel something. Next one. Then for the department, the staff.
I'm so sorry.
No, that's fine. My department is a nice place to work in. 43% says they don't know. They don't have an opinion if their if our unit is a nice place to work in. However, only 29% is neutral if their work is meaningful. So there's a disbalance there somewhere. And then during the past months, I was satisfied with my unit and would recommend my unit to other as a good place to work. Less than 50% of the staff in Ward 15 think this is a good place to work in. Some place to work. We need to work on that. Then next one, recognition. Only less than 40% of the staff thinks that somebody have noticed their good work, and about 60% of the staff feels that they make a difference. The work that they do make a difference to the patients. Next one. Stress management. Again, huge areas of orange, that is not good, that is considered as negative. However, it is concerning that staff do not relax at home. A lot of them is concerned or nervous about things that is happening at work, or maybe things that they haven't done, or maybe they get a lot of phone calls or emails. Also something that I think we need to look at. Next one is autonomy and the work itself. our nurses do see their patients as people with specific needs, and 79% of our staff feel that they care for their patients equally, even if it's difficult. Okay, we can go back to the previous one because that is patient satisfaction.
So it seems that we have a problem with teamwork then, as the staff do not want to recommend this unit as a good place to work with.
And also we need to focus more on staff recognition in this unit. Also that seems to be a problem.
So the staff satisfaction indicate stress is a last percentage and they cannot relax in their free time. The three main issues seems to be teamwork, recognition, and stress management. How do you recommend we tackle these three issues?
What about a nurse of the month recognition?
And a team building in the unit to know all the unit mates and also to have some fun.
Okay. Maybe we can discuss the stress-related issues in our next meeting so that we can get more insight of the staff and see if they want to talk about what is creating stress for them. And then we can discuss this in our next meeting a little bit more in detail. So Teresa, will you just keep that in mind, please?
Okay. I think we need to recognize a staff member every month for work well done. We can have a voting system, or where staff can vote for their team members, and then we can recognize the staff member by announcing their name and a photo of the UBC board actually. I can develop for us the voting paper and the criteria, then share it with you all before the next unit meeting.
Great idea. So our interpretation, our staff satisfaction is very low. Teamwork, recognition, and stress is the greatest concern. So our recommendation, a team building session to be planned, can we say before the end of August for the unit? A nurse of the month recognition initiative to start in July. Will you be ready by then, Teresa? With your voting papers and your criteria?
Hopefully.
Hopefully, and we will all agree on that. Then the nurse of the month criteria to be implemented, if we can discuss it with the staff in the next meeting, how this will work. I think that will be great. And then maybe in the next meeting we will discuss the stress-related issues, and then we can make better plans or initiatives regarding that to implement something. Next is our patient satisfaction.
Yes. So, for the overall patient satisfaction is 63% for the unit. This is below the benchmark of 95%. So the main concerns are the same as the previous months.
Okay, so it was all the same. Just go take us through the slides. So they're all far less than 95%.
Yes.
Nurses don't listen, the noise level is high. Okay. Nurses doesn't clean their hands. Nurses don't show concern for pain management. Oh, that is actually bad, slow. The nurses gave enough instructions. Nurses work well together as a team. The room is clean, and I'm satisfied with the food service. I recommend this unit to my family and friends. We don't even reach 60% for recommendations. Is there any nurse that you want to recommend? The 79.9% of the patients says no. They don't want to recommend all our nurses. So interpretation, what do you guys think?
I have just noticed that we haven't improved in any of the 18 standards that were created earlier this year.
Did all the staff attend the customer service lecture?
I would like to know that all of our nurses have received the PowerPoint presentation for them to read and refresh their knowledge.
Actually, the customer service is still on progress. It's still ongoing. We are now currently working on the brochures. However, we need everyone's commitment and participation for all of this criteria to improve.
So what is the recommendations?
I think we have to share the patient survey results with the staff on the UBC board. Ensure that all the staff have attended the lecture and have a copy of the lecture.
We need to show customer service towards our team members.
And as a head nurse of this unit, I think we need to find ways to punish the staff that are not really compliant, even if we remind them, we educate them. What do you think?
No. I think we should advocate for a just culture and don't punish, but rather correct wrong behavior.
That's right.
So interpretation, we have not reached the benchmark of 95%, and we now 3, 4, 5 months already busy with this project, so it's concerning. The main concerns are the same as the previous month. The staff might not be aware of the results, and staff lack in training. And as recommendations, we mentioned share the patient satisfaction with the staff and discuss the results in our next unit meeting. Ensure that all the staff have attended the customer service training. Ensure that all the staff have access to the PowerPoint presentation, and correct wrong behavior when noticed immediately. Because I think that is the only way we are going to learn. Anybody wants to add something? Next on the agenda is the ideas for improvement. However, we have not received any IFI forms for the month of April. So I suggest that we motivate the staff to participate in the IFIs and to share their ideas. And Teresa, can you please make sure that the staff know where to access the IFI forms?
Noted.
And then if they can contact, you guys are available, education?
Yes.
Actually, for any concerns or any guidance that you need in filling out your IFI forms, you can directly communicate with either nursing education department or the nursing quality department for us to help you or guide you in filling out those forms. And yeah, I think it is a good idea to start submitting all of these IFIs so we can start working on improving all of this data that you have right now.
I think we, as the UBC, must, all of us must do an IFI to show the staff that we start.
Yes, I agree. I think it's best to start from within the group, and that is really a good idea.
So the secretary will be waiting for our IFIs. Last on our agenda is the education results. So we will start with the staff competency compliance with regard to the mandatory competencies. And sad to say that only 50% of the Ward 15 staff is competent. And this is alarming because the mandatory competencies is the BAGI requirements, and it is IPSG requirements, and it is essential safety requirements. So how can we improve that our staff comply with these competencies?
Actually, there is a feeling among the staff that they do not care about their competencies as the contract of them is approved by the headmasters without checking that one.
Oh, wow.
But I think as per as per the requirements, and I believe all the competencies now under the nursing education is in line with our R2 cluster requirements, isn't it, ma'am?
Yes.
So we should have to comply with this.
Monica, can we please ask you to talk to the staff and to discuss this with them? From the unit-based council meeting, we will also discuss it with them when we hand over of this meeting. And we must urge the staff to comply with these competencies. I would want to say by the end of August, because I think later in the year they're gonna have a Sabaki mock survey. Judy, am I right?
Yes.
Judy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we divide the competencies into groups and maybe the staff can finish certain competencies per week so that we can also have a competition also to make the competencies finish fast?
Yeah.
I think it's a very good idea to finish so that we can cover all the nurses.
Yeah, especially that we are already close to this mock survey. So we need to prepare all the things that we need in order for us to be always ready whenever the accreditation will come.
Any other ideas for the competencies? So our recommendation is that we need to inform the staff of the requirements to complete the mandatory competencies. We will divide the competencies in groups. So maybe to have 2 or 3 per week to complete. And then we will announce a competition for the staff who complete all of their competencies first and on or before the date. And then we will put the winners of the photos of the winners on the UBC board. And that might create lots of fun. Anything else that somebody wants to add? Anything that you think we've forgotten? Okay, then this concludes our very first Ward 15 UBC meeting. Teresa will prepare the minutes for us, and then she will share it to all of us. So please keep note of your emails so that you can make your suggestions or corrections to that minutes of meetings as soon as possible, because by Sunday 8 o'clock the minutes of meetings needs to be sent to the hospital-based council. However, I would like to thank you all, and I think we deserve a hand of applause for ourselves for our first meeting. Thank you very much.